Picture this: a church full of familiar faces on the cobbles. A bride who has survived house fires, prison escapes, kidney failure, and a murder accusation. And standing beside her, not a father, not a brother, but the man who has quietly become her rock for over a decade. If you think you know everything there is to know about Carla Connor's story on Coronation Street, think again, because what just happened on the cobbles has left fans absolutely floored, and it all centers on one unforgettable moment between Carla and a Weatherfield legend, Roy Cropper. Hello, and welcome back to the channel, your home for everything happening on the cobbles. Today we are diving deep into one of the most talked about developments in Coronation Street in recent memory, the moment Carla Connor became Carla Connor Swain, and the surprising, tear-jerking role that Roy Cropper played in getting her there. If you are a longtime viewer of the show, you already know these two characters carry decades of history between them. But if you are newer to the street or you have fallen behind on the drama, do not worry, because we are going to walk you through everything from who these characters are, to what just happened, to what it could mean for the future of Weatherfield. So settle in, because this is a big one. Let's start with a bit of background, because to understand why this moment landed so hard for fans, you need to understand exactly who Carla Connor and Roy Cropper are to each other and to the show itself. Carla, played by Allison King, is one of the most iconic characters in Coronation Street history. She first arrived on the cobbles back in 2006 as the tough, sharp-tongued boss of the underworld lingerie factory, and in the years since she has been through practically every kind of soap opera trauma imaginable. She has been widowed. She has survived a husband who turned out to be a killer. She has been trapped in a burning building. She has battled addiction and mental health struggles. And she has faced kidney failure not once but twice, receiving transplants first from her half-brother Aiden and later from her brother Rob. She has been married multiple times, to Paul Connor, Tony Gordon, and Peter Barlow, with her relationship with Peter spanning two separate chapters of her life. Through all of it, Carla has remained one of the emotional anchors of the show, a woman fans love because she is flawed, resilient, and fiercely loyal to the people she loves. Roy Cropper, on the other hand, played by David Nielsen, is something of a Coronation Street institution in his own right. He first appeared on the cobbles all the way back in 1995, and over 3 decades, he has become one of the most beloved and enduring characters in British soap history. Introduced as an eccentric, socially awkward loner, Roy grew into a figure the whole street relies on, the quiet, principled cafe owner with a heart of gold. His most famous storyline remains his marriage to Hayley Cropper, played by Julie Hesmondhouse, whose battle with pancreatic cancer and her decision to end her own life on her own terms became one of the most talked about and critically praised storylines in the show's history. And here is where the connection to Carla comes in. Hayley worked for Carla at the factory for years, and the two women became close. After Hayley's death, that bond did not disappear. It transferred to Roy. Over time, Roy became something like a father figure to Carla, someone who saw past her hard exterior and believed in her even during her darkest moments, including when she was wrongly caught up in suspicion during a murder investigation and needed people in her corner who would not give up on her. Now, let's fast forward to the story that has fans talking right now. In recent months, Coronation Street has taken Carla on what might be her most surprising romantic journey yet, a relationship with Detective Sergeant Lisa Swain, played by Vicky Myers. What began as a supportive friendship between the two women, with Lisa repeatedly coming to Carla's aid during some genuinely terrifying ordeals, slowly blossomed into something neither of them expected. Fans watched as small moments, a lingering touch, a charged glance, built into undeniable chemistry, with the pair eventually being dubbed by viewers online with the nickname Swarla, a mashup of Swain and Carla that quickly caught fire across social media. The road to romance was not smooth. Carla found herself questioning her own feelings, worried she might be risking a valuable friendship, and unsure whether what she felt for Lisa was fleeting curiosity or something real. Lisa, for her part, had her own hesitations, And at one point, the two agreed to simply remain friends rather than risk everything on uncertain feelings. But soap fans know that when two characters have that kind of spark, it rarely stays buried for long, and eventually Carla and Lisa allowed themselves to embrace what was clearly a deep and genuine connection. Then came the proposal storyline, which had fans absolutely buzzing. After a few false starts on Carla's end, including one attempt that went sideways when she learned an eerily similar gesture had already been used on Lisa in the past, it was ultimately Lisa who got down on one knee, surprising Carla outside the factory in front of friends, family, and colleagues. Social media exploded in the aftermath, with fans flooding timelines calling the moment perfect, romantic, and one of the most beautifully written proposals the show has delivered in years. Of course, no Coronation Street romance would be complete without a dramatic obstacle standing in the way of happily ever after, and this story delivered one of the biggest twists fans had seen in a long while. Lisa's presumed dead ex, Becky Swain, resurfaced very much alive, revealing her apparent death had actually been connected to an undercover police operation. Becky's return sent shockwaves through the Swain household and put Carla and Lisa's relationship under enormous strain. Becky made no secret of wanting her family back, working to slowly insert herself back into Lisa and their daughter Betsy's lives, all while Carla watched anxiously from the sidelines, unsure whether the woman she loved might slip back into old feelings. For a while, it genuinely looked like the wedding might be derailed entirely, with Becky's manipulation threatening to tear Carla and Lisa apart for good. But this is where Roy Cropper's role in the story becomes so important, and why his presence has resonated so strongly with longtime fans. Throughout the chaos of Becky's return, Roy remained a steady, trusted presence for both women, someone Lisa could turn to for guidance, and someone who quietly kept an eye on Carla's well-being as she wrestled with jealousy, insecurity, and fear of losing the person she loved. Roy has always been the kind of character who tells hard truths gently, and viewers saw him do exactly that throughout the storyline, helping guide Lisa toward being honest with Carla about what Becky's return had stirred up emotionally, while also reassuring Carla that she was not imagining the strength of what she and Lisa had built together. Eventually, after Becky's manipulations were fully exposed and her attempts to reunite with Lisa collapsed, the path was finally cleared for Carla and Lisa to move forward. And that brings us to the moment fans simply cannot stop talking about. When the wedding day finally arrived on the cobbles, it was Roy Cropper who stepped into the role that, in a more conventional family, might have belonged to a father. With no father figure of her own left to walk her down the aisle, Carla turned to the man who had quietly filled that role for years, and Roy did not disappoint. His speech, delivered with the warmth, humility, and gentle humor longtime fans have come to associate with the character, brought viewers to tears in a moment many are already calling one of the standout scenes of the year. The reaction online was immediate and overwhelming. Fans took to social media in droves, describing themselves as emotional wrecks, praising David Nielsen's performance as understated yet devastatingly moving, and pointing out just how far the relationship between Roy and Carla has come since Haley's death first brought them together as unlikely confidants. Many longtime viewers highlighted just how meaningful it was to see a character like Roy, who has weathered so much personal tragedy himself, be given the honor of standing in as family for someone he has clearly come to love as his own. Entertainment outlets covering the soap world quickly picked up on the reaction, noting that the scene had struck a chord not just because of the wedding itself, but because it represented the payoff of a relationship fans had been quietly invested in for years, long before romance with Lisa ever entered the picture. Following the wedding, Carla made the choice to take her wife's surname, becoming known on screen as Carla Connor Swain, a small but symbolically significant detail that fans have embraced as a sign of just how far this character has come. After years defined by loss, betrayal, and heartbreak in her personal relationships, many viewers feel Carla has finally found something real and lasting, and that Roy's presence at her side on her wedding day only underlined how much found family means on this show. So, What does this all mean going forward? For starters, it cements Roy Cropper's place as one of the emotional cornerstones of Coronation Street, a character whose decades on the show have given him a depth of relationships that few others on the cobbles can match. For David Nielsen, who has played the role since 1995, this storyline is yet another reminder of why Roy remains so beloved, and it will likely reignite conversation about just how essential his character continues to be to the fabric of the show, even after 30 years. For Carla and Lisa, newly married and having weathered Becky's chaotic return, the future is not guaranteed to be smooth sailing. This is a soap opera after all, and Weatherfield rarely allows its couples a peaceful stretch for long. Fans are already speculating about what fresh drama might be waiting around the corner, whether that involves lingering fallout from Becky's schemes, complications tied to the wider Swain and Connor families, or entirely new threats to the couple's happiness. There has also been chatter among viewers about how this storyline ties into some of the show's bigger ongoing plots this year, including the much-discussed flash-forward mystery episode that sent shockwaves through the fanbase earlier in the year, with some fans wondering whether Carla, Lisa, or those close to them could end up entangled in that unfolding mystery down the line. Nothing has been confirmed, but the speculation alone shows just how invested fans have become in this couple's journey. There is also plenty of curiosity about where Roy's story goes from here. Having stepped into such a significant emotional role for Carla, some fans are hoping the show continues to explore his personal life further, including his own tentative attempts to reconnect romantically after years of being on his own following Haley's death. Whatever direction the writers take, one thing is clear: Roy Cropper's bond with Carla has become one of the most quietly powerful relationships on the show, built not on romance or blood, but on years of loyalty, honesty, and mutual respect. To wrap things up, this has been a genuinely special chapter for Coronation Street, one that rewarded long-term fans with a payoff nearly 2 decades in the making. Carla Connor's journey, from a woman who arrived on the cobbles guarded and untrusting, to a bride walked down the aisle by the man who became her family, is exactly the kind of storytelling that keeps soap fans coming back year after year. Add in Roy Cropper's tear-jerking speech, the drama of Becky Swain's return, and the triumphant arrival of Carla Connor Swain, and it is easy to see why this story has captured so much attention across the fan community. That is everything we know so far about this emotional new chapter for Carla and Roy on Coronation Street. What did you think of Roy's speech? Were you as emotional as the rest of the fandom watching it unfold? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. We would love to hear which moment hit you the hardest. If you enjoyed this video, do not forget to give it a like, and if you have not already, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a beat of the latest Coronation Street news. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.